Hi, Gary at Broadlane. Today what we'd like to do is discuss or talk to you about winterisation of your pride and joy, your caravan. And we just thought it might be an idea just to go through a couple of steps and procedures to ensure that when you put your caravan away for the winter period, upon returning to it in the new year, that the van is safe, sound, sparkly, clean and dry and ready for usage in the new year. So without further ado, I think I'll go through a few pointers with you. Where you keep the caravan, that's really important. If you keep the van in storage, just bear in mind a couple of things, but one of those things might be, for example, grass. If it's kept on long grass, especially over the winter months, moisture can be drawn up to the underside of the van, so might just be something to consider in terms of its location. Another thing might be tyres. In the van's kept in storage for quite a long period of time, potentially, you know, many weeks or potentially many months. So you might want to think about moving the van forwards and backwards a little bit to avoid flat spots, and that can mean that you get what we call in the trade cracks on the walls of the tyres. Out of direct sunlight, again, that can create issues with the walls of tyres. So that might be a consideration. Again, if the van's in storage or even at your home address, you might want to consider keeping the van under cover. So if, dare I say it, you've got the facility or access to a barn, which that would be very nice too. Obviously the van's fully undercover for the winter months, and that's avoiding, dare I say, any unnecessary rainwater getting into maybe any breaks within the seals of the construction of the van. But like most of us, we don't have access to such lovely things. You might want to consider what we call a caravan cover. You can wash the van. The van will look nice and pristine. You put your cover on the van thereafter, and what that will do then is help protect the van from the elements, but also it means it's in the new year, you take the caravan cover off, and hopefully in front of you is this gleaming white super caravan ready for its outings in the new year respectively. So that might be something you might want to consider. Another thing then to consider when you winterise your caravan is valuables. Now, whether the van's at home on your driveway or in storage, you might want to think about putting more expensive items under the seats or in the wardrobes, or indeed take them out completely. Batteries. Batteries are really important in a caravan, in that without a leisure battery they don't tend to work. So it's important to keep the batteries fully charged. Some modern day caravans or higher specification caravans come with solar panels on the roofs, and I think they're designed to keep your leisure battery trickle charged. It's important that the van's got access to natural daylight conditions. If you don't have access to solar panel, maybe with a slightly older generation of caravans, you might want to consider taking the leisure battery off and putting it on a trickle charge for 24-48 hours. That will maintain the life of the battery, but also keep the battery in tip-top good condition. And I suppose the real importance of that is that with most caravans these days being fitted with things like motor movers, it just means that when you come to use your van in the new year and you activate the motor mover, it does physically work, given that the battery's in good condition. You might want to also consider, and this is quite important, very obvious this bit is, and that's master switches or off switches. Now, in the Coachman products, you tend to find there's a master switch over the door, and it's a straightforward on-off, and you just turn the power off respectively. In the Swift products, you've got a master shutdown switch under the normally under the front seats. It's the black switch. When it's proud, power's off in the van, and when it's flush, you've got power on in the van. So you want to make sure that's in the off position or proud, and that'll ensure that there's nothing in the van then drawing power from your leisure battery. And again, if you've got accessories like alarms and trackers, they will need some sort of power source to keep in good conditioning. And in terms of draining down your caravan for the winter months, you might want to refer to a previous article we did just telling you how to complete that procedure, and that will ensure that you don't have any things like burst pipes in your pride and joy. I think that sort of wraps it all up really. I hope that's been informative and useful for you. Should you have any questions, you're very welcome to pop down and see us, or by all means give us a call. I'm Gary at Broad Lane Leisure, and on behalf of myself and Broad Lane, thank you much indeed for being with us today.